Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the procession. Please remain standing for the posting of the colors, followed by the invocation. The presentation of the colors will be followed by the national anthem and lift every voice and sing. Present the colors. Post the colors. The invocation will be delivered by the Dean of the Andrew Rankin Memorial Chapel at Howard University, the Reverend Dr. Bernard L. Richardson.
Let us pray. Most gracious and loving God, we give thanks for this day and for Howard University. For 147 years, you have made her both a symbol and the reality of the achievements of a proud and glorious people. We remember on this day the men and women who now rest from their labors, but whose contributions are the foundation of our rich legacy. Thank you for their work. Thank you for the work that continues even now. The unwavering commitment of academic excellence of our faculty, the zeal of our students for truth and service, the contributions that Howard graduates are making in communities across this nation and throughout the world remind us on this day that you still have a future and a hope for Howard University. And in these challenging times in our nation, cause us not to be content with the maintenance or preservation of this institution, but give to us a greater vision to do what Howard University has always done, exceed the expectations of others. And with a collective will, take the resources of our university and redeposit it in places where poverty, injustice, disease, racism, ignorance, illiteracy, and violence are rampant. We give to you Howard University. Give to us the strength to preserve her character, the will to revive her spirit, and the wisdom to ensure her future. In your name we pray. Amen.
The interim president of Howard University, Dr. Wayne A.I. Frederick. Please be seated.
Good morning. Charter Day is an annual punctuation mark in the university's calendar, when all of us have an opportunity to reflect upon the significance of the founding of Howard University in the capital of the United States. 147 years ago, only 2 years after a devastating and bitter civil war that destroyed the institution of slavery in this country, the founders of Howard University had the audacity to establish this very university, with a normal school, a college, a law school, and a medical school. But the founders went even further. Rather than a university exclusively for men or for one racial group, the norm of that period, Howard would be open to all, men and women, black and white, Native Americans and foreigners, open in fact to all of humanity. To make that clear, in English, not Latin, the first seal of Howard University declared to the world these defining words: equal right and knowledge of all, and they certainly meant it. In the law school, whose founding dean was John Langston, sat Charlotte E. Ray of the class of 1872, not only the first African-American female lawyer in the United States, but also the first woman admitted to practice law in the nation's capital. Howard continues to exemplify its founding social values. It is also committed to high-quality teaching and path-breaking research, to high-quality medical care for all, including the poorest people in the community, to provide a high-quality education, excellent care, and to make them available to all is more than a daunting challenge. Few institutions dare attempt it, and some say it's not possible because of finances. At Howard, our values command us to achieve that very thing. As a result, we have been certainly challenged by many complex problems, and it has been my privilege to have been asked by the trustees to tackle them in recent months. And as a triple alum, I feel certainly humbled to stand before you today. We are meeting these challenges by diversifying our revenue streams, increasing operational efficiencies, securing an appropriate disposition for our hospital, and investing in our academic excellence. We are making substantial progress. Our coming together bodes well for a bright future for the capstone. Remaining true to our commitment to service, the Howard family continues to transform our communities. This weekend, nearly 400 students will depart for 6 U.S. cities and Haiti as part of the Alternative Spring Break program. They will provide 16,000 hours of invaluable service to communities with significant needs. This, too, is the Howard way, but this is only a glimpse into our commitment to service. Our student participants in Engineer Without Borders recently completed a 5-year partnership in Kenya to improve water quality for the people in a rural village in the Rift Valley region. And in May, the team will begin a new water project in El Salvador. Also last month, Howard University was nationally ranked as a leading producer of Peace Corps volunteers because hundreds of our alumni have served in this capacity. Further, for more than 2 decades, Howard has consistently produced more undergraduates who later earned PhDs in science and engineering, more than any other school in this nation. These individuals go on to be award-winning scientists, doctors, and engineers who pave the way for tomorrow's leaders. Our students come from nearly every state and more than 70 countries across the globe. And while they may vary in ethnicity, religion, age, creed, or socioeconomic status, they attend Howard University because each and every student is committed to living a purposeful life and is determined to change the world for the betterment of all. Yet it is impossible to have great students without great faculty. Guided by our extraordinary faculty, Howard continues to lead through cutting-edge research, advocacy, service, and community engagement. I'd like to take a moment to congratulate Dr. Rodney Green and his team of economists who recently received a $500,000 grant from the Ford Foundation. This grant will allow them to augment the work of our Center for Race and Wealth, which seeks to reduce the world's race-based wealth gap. Dr. Green and your colleagues, congrats. I would also like to congratulate Dr. Ivory Tolson, Associate Professor in the School of Education, who was recently tapped by President Obama to serve as Deputy Director of the White House Initiatives on HBCUs. Because of our illustrious faculty, Howard also remains a leader in the arts. Whether on stage or on the big screen, Howard is dominant in the preparation of technically and theoretically competent artists who have deeply influenced and enriched American and world culture. To continue our legacy, the Department of Theater Arts has been awarded a $250,000 grant from the Smithsonian for a new dance commission in conjunction with the National Museum of African Art. We have today with us the Howard University Middle School of Math and Science, and these students represent what I think is our very brilliant future. They excel in science and math, and they are innovative. The middle school recently won a statewide Verizon App Challenge. More than 90% of the students go to college, and nearly 60% pursue STEM majors. MS² is critical to the nation's strategic pipeline to STEM, and they are located right here on our campus. To the middle school students, if you will. While we work towards our future, we must glean from our past. So often we talk about Thurgood Marshall and Charles Drew, but a number of these individuals sat right here in the same chairs, ate in the same cafeterias, attended the same classes as our current students. Their potential was no different than any current or future university student. However, while at Howard, they made a commitment to become leaders and to serve their communities. And so to the students, I certainly encourage you to follow that path. As we count down to our 150th anniversary, we recommit to sustaining Howard as a place of opportunity where students are empowered to dream bold dreams and make those dreams a reality. In closing, I would like to remind us all of just a couple of things that I think we must reflect on. I recently listened to a Howard Thurman sermon, and he said this, and I think it is very pertinent for the time that we're in. There is no difference between 5 and 5 million with respect to its relationship to infinity. The founding of Howard wasn't quantitative, but rather it was qualitative. The founding fathers had no set number of schools and colleges, or no set number of students or faculty it planned to serve. However, what they had in mind is what we must focus on: the exceptional quality of education, scholarship, research, and service that transforms lives, and the possession of the future that is as bright as you want it to be. In 60 days, we will celebrate a destination: the graduation of our students, the culmination of the hard work, perseverance, dedication, and commitment displayed by our students and our faculty. Charter Day allows us to center down, focus on our goals, and recommit to advancing the Howard way, the new song for the new morrow. Lastly, I stand here as a product of this very university, and I remain forever grateful for what the founding fathers gave me as a 3-time graduate of Alma Mater. So today I say to all of you, for your very, very unyielding support, thank you and happy Charter Day.
Good morning. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to bring greetings and welcome you to the 147th anniversary of the university's founding. Charter Day provides an opportunity for us to celebrate the legacy of Howard University and the significant contributions that Howard graduates make to the nation and to the world. This year, we are privileged to recognize 4 exemplars whose work and contributions extend the reach of the Howard legacy. Welcome, distinguished alumni, and thank you for joining us today. As is our tradition, tomorrow night, we will honor these outstanding individuals: Dr. Patricia A. Bath, ophthalmologist, inventor, and academician; Ms. Eloise Foster, Cabinet Secretary of the Maryland Department of Budget and Management; Dr. James H. Johnson, Director of the Center for Environment Research for the Office of Research and Development in the United States Environmental Protection Agency; and Dr. LaSalle D. LaFalle, Jr., renowned surgeon and senior advisor to President Wayne Frederick. Dr. LaFalle, unfortunately, was unable to attend today. They all represent excellence in their respective fields. They are truly the Howard brand. Greetings to our orator, Mr. Jamie Dimon, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, J.P. Morgan Chase & Company. Thank you for being here to help us celebrate our birth. Jamie, it's important that I share with you and the university community a quote that I found while reviewing your background. During a meeting with your staff, when asked what qualities you look for in your leadership team, you said capability, character, and how you treat people. It sums up the demonstrated leadership you've exhibited at the helm of J.P. Morgan. These qualities are fundamental to success and a part of the Howard core values. We are honored by your presence and look forward to hearing your words of wisdom today. Greetings, President Frederick, First Lady Simone Frederick, and commendations to the men and women who comprise our wonderful Howard University faculty. Thank you for all you do. All you do in helping us to produce leaders for America and the global community. Thank you as well to the dedicated, loyal staff, alumni, and retirees. And finally, to our students. On this, the 147th Founders Day, as is tradition, I ask that you would take a moment and visualize yourself as a distinguished alumni honoree. As a Howard man or woman, you are gifted, destined for excellence, and therefore obligated to lead and to serve. On this day, let us rededicate ourselves to excellence, service, truth, and the innovation that is required to secure this university's future. I am sure you join with me in the joy, the privilege, and responsibility to fulfill the mission and promise of Howard University. Thank you.
The Howard Singers, whose recent performance was last week at the White House, is a select group from the university choir. The group will perform R. Nathaniel Dett's Listen to the Lambs, which was the first attempt by an African-American composer to create an anthem derived from the Negro spiritual. Soloist Angela Ray, soprano, Dr. J. Weldon Norris, conducting.
Listen to the
In keeping with a long-standing Howard tradition, tomorrow evening at the annual Charter Day dinner, we will honor several of our alumni for distinguished achievement in their chosen fields and present them with appropriate awards for their noteworthy accomplishments. This year, 4 Howardites will be honored, and I would like to announce them to you at this time. For distinguished service in the fields of medicine, ophthalmology, and research, Dr. Patricia E. Bath. For distinguished service in the field of public service, Ms. T. Eloise Foster. For distinguished service in the field of STEM education, Dr. James H. Johnson, Jr., and for distinguished service in the fields of medicine, surgery, and public health, Dr. LaSalle D. LaFalle, Jr. I'd like my honorees to stand and be acknowledged, please. I'd like the Honorable Alfonso Jackson, who is a trustee and vice chairman for J.P. Morgan Chase Corporate. Please present our speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I have the honor to present Dr. Jamie Dimon to receive from your hands the Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa.
I need to make sure I didn't make Dr. Dimon a surgeon. As the Honorable Alfonso Jackson said, Dr. Dimon, with this degree I confer upon you the honorary degree Doctor of Humane Letters. I told my staff this morning that for my first convocation, if there was not a glitch, I'd be disappointed. So we'll take that, the imperfection, perfection of Charter Day. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you our Charter Day convocation speaker. Jamie Dimon, financial titan and trailblazing industry servant leader, you have built an illustrious career and reputation in the field of finance and serve as chairman and chief executive officer of J.P. Morgan Chase & Company, a global firm with assets of $2.4 trillion and operations in over 60 countries. According to your colleagues, what sets you apart as a consummate leader in the financial world is not only your expert knowledge, business acumen, and insider's understanding of the industry, but your open-hearted, everyman approach and attitude toward life and genuine humanity. A native New Yorker, you followed in the footsteps of your grandfather and father, both in the banking industry. Listed on the Time magazine roster of the world's 100 most influential people in 2006, 2008, 2009, and 2011. I don't know what happened in 2007 and 2010, but we'll check with them. You serve on the board of directors of Harvard Business School and Catalyst and are a member of the Business Council. You are also on the New York School of Medicine Board of Trustees. Most importantly, you met the love of your life partner, Judith, more than 40 years ago at the Harvard Business School and are the proud parents of 3 daughters. Julia, Laura, and Carol. It says here in my script, 3 adult daughters. I left out adult for a reason. I have a 7-year-old, and she's never going to be an adult daughter. Jamie Diamond, your majestic rise in the financial arena is heroic. Your tenacious determination and fortitude are an inspiration for all who reach for the stars. We are most proud to name you a beloved son of Howard and commend and salute your magnificent mind, integrity, and indomitable spirit. You are an exceptional servant leader who mirrors our cherished core values: leadership, excellence, truth, and service. We applaud your distinguished accomplishments and honor you as Convocation orator on the historic occasion of our 147th Charter Day. I think this is a great opportunity for us as a community to hear from Mr. Diamond, whose breadth of experience certainly, I think, would give us some great insight. Thank you.
Thank you, President Wayne Frederick. First, I am truly honored to be here because this is a wonderful institution which has set forth 70,000 graduates since it was founded in 1867, who have changed history and made it a better world. So my hat's off to the faculty and all those who supported all those many, many years. And I came to Howard for the first time in 1988, mostly to recruit your top students and to help build our company. As a firm, J.P. Morgan Chase has a long-standing relationship with Howard, and for the past 2 years we've been sponsoring business teams and business students to expose them to J.P. Morgan, our culture and lines of business. I'm going to speak about 4 things today, a little different than a CEO of a bank would normally do. I'm going to talk about mankind and the progress that we have or haven't made in the last several thousand years. I'm going to talk about the state of America, and I'm going to talk about us, J.P. Morgan, just a little bit, not as an advertisement, but to tell you some of the things we try to do. And last but not least, I'm going to speak about you, and I'm speaking mostly to the students when I do that. Mankind. It's hard to see it sometimes with all the news you read today and all the terrible things still happening on this planet, but mankind has made enormous progress. Everyone should read a book by a man called Steven Pinker, who teaches at a university not very well known, sounds a little bit like Howard, called Harvard of the North. The book is called The Better Angels of Our Nature, and it actually chronicles how mankind has or hasn't made progress, and it looks at things like murder and torture, slavery over thousands of years. And amazingly, over that time, if you were born in feudal times, your chance of being murdered during your lifetime were often 20 to 30% murder, either normal or in war. Today, it's a small fraction of that. Amazingly, even the 20th century, bloodied by World War I and World War II, were better than all other centuries. Things like torture, slavery, also over many, many years have been starting to be more and more eradicated on this planet. And he goes on to explain some of the reasons why governments, courts, justice, human knowledge, and the things like morality taught by the church, newspapers, universities have changed people's mind about what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. 2, America. Again, we read a lot about some terrible things. We know of enormous progress to make still going forward. But the best potential for any human being ever born on this planet would be right here and right now. Right here and right now. I'm not saying that out of patriotism. I'm saying it because of some facts I'm about to share with you. In America today, we have earned over many, many years through great resiliency and often tough times the best hand ever dealt to a country. We have the best military on the planet, and we will for decades. We have the best universities. The rest of the world comes here still to learn. We have the best rule of law. We have the best companies, small, medium, and large. We have the best innovation, both from Steve Jobs to the factory floor. We have an extraordinary work ethic. We have the widest and deepest and most transparent financial and commerce markets that the world has ever seen. And I know you may find this hard to believe, we actually have a very good functioning democracy. And by that I mean, and we get what we deserve because we vote for the folks there, but by that I mean is that you don't question whether we will be a democracy. You don't question about whether things will change. You don't question about whether you have a vote. I do get to travel around all parts of this world, and in lots of countries, you simply don't know what's going to be happening in 10 or 20 years. And then we've been blessed recently with things like new sources of energy. For a country that never had an adequate energy policy, it's kind of a blessing. God looked down upon us and said, I'm going to give you a second chance. I hope we use it wisely. So this country pretty much has it all. I do have a caveat on this one, by the way, is that we don't have a divine right to success. If you study history at all, you see the empires rise and fall. And the U.S. is a good example so far as a nation that continues to earn its way, to learn, to reform, to change, and to get better. And Howard is a shining example of that. After a terrible civil war, that a general who fought in that civil war would have a dream that created this kind of university. The only way you can fix your problems is by recognizing them. They do not recognize themselves. And I'm going to just mention a few, just a handful. There are others, so if I miss them, I apologize. We have to fix our immigration system. It's a blot on the morality, and it's bad for the economy, and I hope our politicians do that. We don't have a good infrastructure policy. Every city, state, and the government should be thinking about things like roads and schools and hospitals and grids 50 years out, not 1 year out. And it is absolutely true that income inequality is here. It's not good. There are ways to fix it. But the worst part of income inequality is the fact that half of the kids in inner city schools, often almost always poor, and largely minorities, do not graduate. And that is also a blot on our morality, and it wipes out inequality and all the things we all strive for, and maybe not equally worse, but possibly equally bad. Among those people who are not given a chance at all, there might be an Einstein or President Obama. And I do want to say that the President's recent initiative, our Brothers Keepers, we are going to try to be supporting. We think it's a wonderful thing to do. And then J.P. Morgan, it is the responsibility of all companies, large or small, whether you're a corner store, a large corporation, to participate in a meaningful way in your community. So J.P. Morgan happens to operate in 2,000 cities and in over 100 countries today, but we look at it no different than the corner store. You participate in the community, you help your local church, you help your local Little League, you try to give kids summer jobs and educate them, and that a lot of companies do that. In fact, some of the larger companies are among the most philanthropic on the planet, but they also train people, educate people, and they have not been the forefront of social justice, but way before parts of America supported the rights of people. Big businesses supported affirmative action, benefits for gay married couples, and other social things. And corporations do have a lot to offer. More than their money, it's their talent and their time. It's their huge resources they can bring to bear behind any problem at all, and it's their ability to work with civic society and consumers and governments. We believe that a big bank needs to be there in good times and bad times. Communities are better off if we do it well, and they suffer if we do it badly. I want to assure you that we will be there in good times and bad times, no matter what happens, for all parts of the United States. And we've done the same, by the way, in Italy, Spain, Portugal, as they go through their tough times. We try to we mentioned two specific things we do that you might be interested in. One is recently we started an initiative. It's going to be a 5-year, $250 million program to close the so-called skills gap. This program, we try to identify the skills that employers need in markets across the company and then try to fund the most effective training programs. Today, there are 4 million jobs that are sitting unfilled because businesses cannot find the local workers with the talents they need, with the skills they need in the local market. If we can work to address that one problem, we believe that over time, we can put 2 million more people to work and take a big chunk out of that unemployment rate. Another example is a program we launched called the Fillership Initiative. This program identified 24 young men of color from economically disadvantaged communities in New York. These are young men who, according to statistics, had very little chance of graduating high school, and if they did graduate, of being able to attend and graduate a college. We partnered with not-for-profits and educators to structure a time-intensive program, and we teamed with these young men with volunteers at our company who served as mentors through their high school years. The results so far have been outstanding. All 100%, 24 kids, 24 lives, all graduate high school, 100% were accepted at college, and we're going to make sure they graduate college. Finally, I'd like to conclude a little bit with advice, mostly to the younger folks here, but to all of us a little bit. And I also like to say I hesitate to give advice because the implication is that I did it all right. I did not. Many times I learned by making mistakes the hard way and learning what not to do. So as you look at your careers outside of Harvard, you have an enormous reason to be optimistic, but with those opportunities come huge responsibility that you try to do your share to make it a better world. Each one of you has a chance to be a leader, to bend that arc of history, as Martin Luther King spoke about. And leadership takes all forms, from business to school to government to leaders to high school teachers that can make the world a better place. It starts with character, but I want to give you a few other things I think are just critical. One is discipline and fortitude. Success is hard. It is not easy. I never worked as hard as I started working until after I graduated college, and hard work is everything you need to do, and fortitude is to get through the tough times. There will be tough times. Many of you have had tough times, but getting through those is probably the most rewarding, to have the resolve to do it. You have to set standards, both for yourself and for everyone around you. How do you want to be? What do you want to accomplish? They do not set themselves. Society does not set standards for you. You need to be open, that is to all people, all ideas. You need to constantly read and reach out across the aisle to make sure you understand all people and all things. You need to have the courage to face facts directly and honestly. Most people don't. That one thing will help you enormously in life. You need to develop loyalty, meritocracy, and teamwork, but I think those words are often misused. Teamwork does not mean go along to get along. Okay, what teamwork means is when you participate in a team, like think of a good sports team, if the other person isn't doing their job, you put pressure on them to do their job. Meritocracy means sometimes you have to make the tough decision. As a young executive, I remember demoting someone once, and someone said, "Jamie, you have not been loyal to that individual." And I couldn't answer the question. That they loved the company, they wanted to stay there, but they, as I figured out after the fact, thought of loyalty as the wrong thing. If you leave someone in a job who is not doing a good job, you may be loyal to that person, but you're disloyal to everybody else. And then that word meritocracy is no longer an honest word. And unfortunately, the person you're being nice to is usually a middle-aged white male who's a very good person. And so we have to be very vigilant about what we call meritocracy. And morale is very important, but also misused. Morale does not mean trying to wave the flag and tell people to feel better. Morale is usually by working hard and facing your problems. It's not necessarily by winning, but it is by trying. So morale becomes an important thing. And treating all people right, you mentioned it, humanity. That to me is you treat the mailroom person exactly the way you treat the CEO of a corporation. Exactly, no different. And that all people should be given that respect. And last but not least, to remind folks, it is your job to take care of yourself, and by that I mean your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul, your family, and your friends. It does not come automatically either. It takes time, it takes effort, and if you lose your way, you have to go back to the basics. But companies try to help. It is your job as an individual to do those things. So if you do those things, it's amazing what you'll be able to accomplish. So let me conclude where I began. The arc of history is long, and it is bending towards a better future. We see progress everywhere. I'm reminded of an article I read in a newspaper many years ago. It was written by a Medal of Honor winner who won the Medal of Honor on June 6, 1944, Normandy Beach, D-Day. And he wrote that he would never forget that day, who he lost that day, what he accomplished that day, but he also acknowledged the medal wasn't just for him. It was for many people. Then he went on to say that he realized after his long life that those who also deserve medals are the teachers, parents, doctors, nurses, all those folks who every day, year in, year out, work with their children and their friends to make it a better world. Go forth, folks. Good luck. Thank you.
In recognition of the 100th anniversary of the Howard University Music Department, the singers will perform Plenty Good Room, a composition by the late Thomas H. Kerr, one of Howard's most distinguished and well-known professors. The closing remarks and benediction.
Let's have another round of applause for the choir. I think our orator gave us some great food for thought, so Dr. Diamond, thank you again. I'm going to take the opportunity to practice a little bit of what you just preached to us. So I'm going to practice a little loyalty, and as you said, the script that I couldn't find was in the wrong place. It was right in front of me. So we won't do a root cause analysis on what happened there. It is with sincere appreciation that I want to acknowledge the presence of our other honored and distinguished guests. In addition, we would like to cite a few individuals and categories of individuals who deserve our special recognition. I first want to start with the Vice Chairwoman Renee Higginbottom Brooks and members of the Board of Trustees. Please stand. Relatives and friends of our distinguished Alumni Award recipients in the audience, if you can please stand and be recognized. Mr. Chris Washington, the President of the Howard University Alumni Association. Ms. Dominique Perkins, the President of the Howard University Student Association. Ms. Roberta McLeod, who has announced that she would retire June 30th. I'm not sure if you're going to take Blackburn with you, but President of our Howard University Staff Organization. For the faculty, your representative as chair of the Senate in his rightful place, Dr. Lorenzo Morris. Members of my cabinet, if you can all stand. The deans and directors of the university. I see a few former officers of the university in the audience. If you would stand and be recognized. Dr. Clara Guyton and other retirees of Howard University. One more round of applause for the University Singers Orchestra and Dr. Norris. We, of course, have our special little ones with us from the early learning program. I'm pretty impressed that they sit through this. This morning I got up and I had the job of waking up my 9-year-old son. I went in the room and I woke him up. I followed him into the shower and I said, today is a very important day for Dad. It'll be my first official ceremony in my role as interim president. And he said, ceremony is one of my worldly wise words for my test today. So I know he's going to ace that. The faculty of our great institution, the backbone of our institution, please stand and be recognized. And our students, the students of Howard University who were here the day before spring break. I'm impressed. So please join us for the singing of the alma mater, and please remain standing for the benediction and the retiring of the colors. And just before they come to we begin, I want to acknowledge Rashawn Baker, the son of Howard, Prince George's County Executive. The daughter of one of our heroes is here, Dr. Charlene Drew Jarvis. Got to recognize you. This gentleman is spending a year with us, but every opportunity we get to acknowledge him, we must. The Honorable Congressman Dellums. The Maryland State's Attorney is here, Ms. Angela Osbrook. And Dr. Diamond brought some staff with him, and I have to take the opportunity to acknowledge them because they have worked with us feverishly to make sure that this went by smoothly, and we're very appreciative. So your Chief of Staff, Judith Miller, and Peter Scher, your EVP for Corporate Responsibility. Thanks for coming.
Let us pray. We give you thanks, O God, for what eyes have seen, our ears have heard, and our hearts have felt. And now I said to the one who stood at the gate, give me a light that I may go out into the darkness and into the unknown. And he replied to me, go out into the darkness, go out into the unknown. But put your hand in the hand of God, and God shall be for you better than light and much safer than a known way. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and give you peace, both now and forevermore. Amen.
Please remain standing for the retiring of the colors. Retire the colors. You are reminded that these proceedings were carried live on Howard University Radio, WHUR FM 96.3, and will be broadcast on Howard University Television, WHUT, on Sunday, March 23rd at 1 p.m. We also invite you to revisit this experience on our website at howard.edu. Thank you for being our guest at the 147th anniversary of the historic founding of Howard University.
stop it.